Hello and welcome to the Davies Locker. I'm your host Chris Davis, and with me, as always, the man who knows no retreat, no surrender, the man who could easily kill Bill, the drunken master himself, Gazadi.
Hiya! Anata ga hairi masu, the Davies Locker. This week saw the anniversary of the release of the 80s classic Bloodsport, starring Jean-Claude Van Damme. So that got us thinking, what are our favourite martial art films?
Yeah, I mean, we were kids of the 80s, so when we grew up, we were spoiled for choice when it came to karate, chopping, roundhouse kicking, hard knocks to idolise, weren't we?
Yeah.
And not only that, we also were the first generation to have those video games like Street Fighter, Double Dragon, and of course, our favourite, Mortal Kombat.
Oh, mate, I loved it. Unbelievable.
What a game.
And there were so many, weren't there? They were just on the forefront of fighting games.
Yeah, so good. But what we're doing today, we're not looking at a critical analysis of martial arts films anew. These aren't the culturally significant ones. They're not the critically acclaimed ones. They're just ones that, for whatever reason, we like.
Just our favourites.
Yeah.
So don't have a go at us.
Yeah.
If they're not on your list, if you think, actually, this should have been on there, this should have been on there, let us know in the comments below.
Yeah, and while you're there, 1-inch punch the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the notification bell icon to be told every single time we upload any new content.
That's right. And talking about the old 1-inch punch, let's start with Enter the Dragon.
Released in 1973, Enter the Dragon is widely regarded as one of the greatest martial arts films of all time. It tells the story of Lee, a Shaolin martial artist and instructor from Hong Kong who is approached by British intelligence to aid in investigating a suspected crime lord known only as Han. Lee enters a high-profile martial arts competition on Han's private island to gather evidence that will prove his involvement in drug trafficking and prostitution. Shortly before his departure, Lee also learns that the man responsible for his sister's death is working alongside Han. Whew. Enter the Dragon, Bruce Lee. I mean, you cannot have a countdown of this nature without Bruce Lee.
Definitely not.
He's the ultimate, isn't he? The ultimate martial arts icon, let's be honest.
And when people say to me, martial art films, that image of Bruce Lee just comes to mind. That's the first thing that I think of.
Yeah, and that's the thing, he's so iconic. I mean, you look at the opening scenes, for example, where he's fighting Samo. He's got the grappling gloves on. They're doing full contact fighting. I mean, this is MMA before it was called MMA. Everything about him, every single scene you see with Bruce Lee, seems to me that it just becomes iconic. You know, whether his yellow tracksuit, I think it's in Game of Death.
Yeah.
You know, the different costumes and things he wears here. And it's just sort of enters into he's in the mindset of popular culture, isn't he, at the time?
Yeah, definitely.
You know,
and I think he did so much for that kind of Asian filmmaking.
Sure.
I think it was was it his last film as well?
It was his last film. It was released a month after he died.
Was that right?
It really was, yeah.
So I think that even gives it a bit more cachet when you're thinking about these things, because you just think, I mean, he was only young, wasn't he? What could he have done after this film?
Yeah.
Because he started getting popular over here, and especially in America. So you just think, where would he be if he was still
32 when he died. And it was, like you say, it was a significant film because it was the first film co-produced with a Chinese studio and an American one, Warner Brothers being the studio in question. And what they did with Enter the Dragon was they had Asian, American and African-American sort of heroic protagonists so that they could really appeal to a wider audience. And it worked.
Yeah.
And it really worked. You've got Bruce Lee playing the character of Lee. You've got John Saxon, I think his name is, plays the character of Roper. And then Jim Kelly playing the character of Williams.
Yeah.
And Jim Kelly went on actually to have a sort of career. He did Black Belt Jones and other martial arts films of that ilk, like blaxploitation films. And that was another thing that was important about Enter the Dragon. It mixed those kind of the classic martial arts along with themes of blaxploitation and stuff like that. So it's a very significant film. It was groundbreaking in the way it was shot in some ways. I mean, and a lot of films reference it, like the sort of the fast zooms in, the slow-mo fighting action, all of the stuff, which we'll see in a couple of other films that we're going to talk about. So, what's your favourite bit of it?
Well, as a holistic film, the sound, you know, like when they're like punching each other. It's just like one of those, and it's almost mocked in some ways if people are taking the mick out of this type of thing. But I just loved it, and I used to run when I was a kid, run around the playground just going.
Well, the reason it's like that is because films at that time in Hong Kong, etc., were filmed completely without sound. So there's no actual on-set sound. So it's all done afterwards, all dubbed, all the voices are dubbed. And I think it's only the second film, speaking of dubbed voices, that Bruce Lee speaks in his own voice.
Yeah, I think
the other one being Marlowe, I think it was called. But my favourite bit, and it's kind of the bit that most annoys me as well, in a way, is when Roper is fighting against Bolo. And funnily enough, Bolo Young, the actor, used to be called Yang Zhe, and he changed his name to his character's name from Enter the Dragon, so he that was become his stage name, Bolo Young. But anyway, that fight that they have, where he's fighting against Roper, they're having a scrap. He gets Roper in like an arm bar, so Roper bites him on the leg. And he gets up and then he like sticks him with a jab a bit, and he's like, oh, he's jabbing him up big time. But then he finishes him off with a swift kick to the bollocks. And then the next thing, Bolo's on the floor. Like, I mean, it hurts getting kicked in the knackers, doesn't it?
It does.
But the next thing, Bolo's on the floor like he's on death's door. It's like, get up, Bolo. So that bit annoys me, but it's also my favourite bit.
Another thing that I love with those types of films, they never all just pile on. They almost kind of wait in a queue. It's like, right, I'll take him out. Who's next? Who's next? They never just pile on, do they? I don't know. They're just like, right, we'll wait in line to get our ass kicked.
Very well-mannered scrapping. But all in all, a rock-solid film, isn't it?
Excellent, yeah.
A classic.
Really good.
Should we move on to the next one?
Yeah. Number 4 is The Matrix. Released in 1999 and written and directed by the Wachowskis, The Matrix is the first installment in the acclaimed franchise that depicts a dystopian future in which humanity is unknowingly trapped inside a simulated reality. It stars Keanu Reeves as Neo, a computer hacker that discovers the true nature of this reality and his role in the war against its controllers. Man, I absolutely love The Matrix.
Oh, me too.
They kind of changed the way that action films was put together, and especially some of the things like bullet time. Unbelievable.
I think that's the thing with martial arts films. I mean, and The Matrix it's not strictly a martial arts film in that way, is it? It's a sort of science fiction crossed with a martial arts film. And, so some people might say it's not a martial arts film. But we're classing it as one, aren't we? Because there's so many wicked elements of martial arts from the fight scenes in it, which we'll get into in a sec. But going to what Gaz says, some of these martial arts films that we're talking about are so innovative for what they are. Like, they changed the way, like, action, stunt choreography, for example. The choreographer in this was Yuan Wu Ping, a very famous Chinese stunt choreographer. Again, a total game changer. Like you say, with the invention of bullet time, which is an incredible bit of technology, isn't it?
Yeah, unreal.
I mean, I remember seeing that scene for the first time with Trinity, when she jumps up to do like the crane kick thing. It just blew my mind. I was like, what? Rewind. Do you know what I mean? You're like, I've got to see that again. I mean, it's a great film. Do you know what annoys me?
Go on.
Is that kids these days will know Keanu Reeves for John Wick. We know him as Neo.
That's it.
He's not John Wick to us, he's Neo first. John Wick second, isn't he?
Almost ironically, he wasn't the first choice, was he? There were so many other people that they wanted. And Johnny Depp was the first choice that they wanted.
First choice, Will Smith turned it down. Nick Cage turned it down. Brad Pitt turned it down. I mean, imagine. I mean, this is back to what we were saying about the Thundercats casting. For me, I'm glad they had a sort of lesser known cast at the time, because I don't think if Brad Pitt's Neo, those films are as successful.
Exactly.
I really don't think.
One question I always have: do you think they should have put those sequels in? Is The Matrix a stronger film without those sequels?
They're not as good. Let's be real. They're really not as good. And also, I don't think the effects are as good. The effects don't sell as well, and we've been through that with completely CGI rendered characters, especially the Neo fight when he's fighting all those agents. It just doesn't look right to me. But I like the sequels, but I do think it could stand on its own. I really do.
And we got a Matrix 4 coming soon, aren't we?
Coming soon,
So they're already filming. We've seen some set shots from San Francisco. So I'll be very intrigued, because the aesthetic, Neo and Trinity, what we know is that it's within the Matrix, and they're very different from what they did previously. So
going to the martial arts of it, the scene in the dojo where Morpheus is teaching Neo about what he can sort of essentially just download and be good at. I can just download all the martial arts and be dead good at it.
I saw a documentary, and I think it was entitled "I Know Kung Fu." I think when he got it downloaded, and it was like, "I know Kung Fu," and it was just the way that they melded all those different martial arts together. That's what I liked. It wasn't just strictly right. We'll have Kung Fu, or we'll just have karate. It was just everything was in there, and just really it's innovative, like we said.
Well, I mean, and going back to what we were saying about Enter the Dragon being so iconic and referenced.
Yeah.
When Neo's like in the dojo and he's on his toes, like it's very, very Bruce Lee style. I mean, that's one of my favourite bits in the film. I think in terms of the fight scenes, I think my favourite one's got to be in the subway against Agent Smith.
Yeah.
And I love the bit where Trinity's like, "What's he doing?" And then Morpheus goes, "He's beginning to believe." And it's like, oh my God.
Goosebumps.
And then they start fighting, whatever. And then he gets up and he does that thing where he just goes,
yeah.
And then the dust comes off it.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I love that bit.
I like it when they go to get... Morpheus is being captured, hasn't he? And then they go and get him. And he comes out, they're in the helicopter. And just at the end where he's starting to believe. And the helicopter's going over the side. And he just kind of grabs the rope and he just like saves Trinity on the end of it.
Cool, isn't it?
Oh, mate, I love it.
It's so cool. But you know, like we were saying, going back to what we were saying about the choreography and all that kind of stuff, that really makes the film. And Keanu Reeves himself even donated most of his fee, I think, to make the special effects team millionaires or something. I mean, he's just a good guy, Keanu. Everyone loves him, right? But Yen Wu Ping didn't initially want to get involved at all, so he could have had a completely different looking Matrix. Yeah. But what happened was he liked the script, but he didn't want to do the film.
Right.
So what he did was he thought, well, I'll demand some extortionate fee to put him off.
Nice.
Didn't work. Wachowskis were like, whatever, pay him. And he was like, oh, what am I going to do now? So he thought, well, I'll tell you what, I'll make another ridiculous demand. I'll say I want full control of all the fight scenes, and I want the cast for 4 months training beforehand.
Yeah. And
they were like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, so he ended up doing it, and luckily for us, it gave us this fantastic science fiction martial arts cross, didn't it?
Yeah.
And it's incredible.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
Should we move on to number 3?
Yeah, what we got?
Number 3 is going to be Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. From visionary director Ang Lee and released in the year 2000, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon tells the story of a young Chinese warrior who steals the Green Destiny sword from famed swordsman Li Mu Bai. She then escapes into a world of adventure with a mysterious man in the frontier of the nation.
Again, another fantastic film. And I'll just kick off because I know you can wax lyrical about Ang Lee until the cows come home.
Tell you what.
For me, and I think it's in disagreement with you, but this is my favourite film of his.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
That's a tough one for me because Gaz is referencing there the fact that I love Brokeback Mountain. I think it's one of the best films ever made. One of the best love stories on screen ever.
Yeah.
Much the same as this.
Exactly, yeah.
Because yes, this is a martial arts film. It's got incredible, again, groundbreaking action from Yuen Wu Ping, same guy who did The Matrix. Incredible fight choreography, almost balletic. Well, definitely balletic, to be honest with you. So yes, it's got loads of amazing fight scenes, but at its core, it's a love story, or a couple of love stories.
Yeah.
Essentially, you've got Xu Lian, the Michelle Yeoh character, and Li Mu Bai, the famed swordsman, who are in almost a forbidden love, it feels like, doesn't it?
That's it.
And then you've got Jian Yu and Lo, who are she's the young sort of, I think, a governor's daughter / ridiculously skilled Wudan trained ninja, who steals the famous Green Destiny sword from Li Mu Bai, and the plot develops from there. But for me, the most beautiful martial arts film I've ever seen.
Yeah, I have to agree. And I mean, it had so many like Oscar nominations.
4 wins.
Yeah, 4 wins. And like you say, it's almost like a work of art. And that's why I love Ang Lee so much. Chooses so many different genres to be involved in, but kind of chucks himself in, doesn't say this is an Ang Lee film, this is the way I put it together. He's like, this is the genre and I will work within that. And like you say, it's beautiful. It is a masterpiece.
It is derivative in some ways. Obviously, if you're going to make a film like that, you're going to call upon traces and elements of Kurosawa's work, Seven Samurai, all that kind of stuff. So these films do deserve honourable mentions, but these, like we said, these are the films that we enjoy the most.
Yeah.
This isn't the ones that are most critically acclaimed and all that kind of thing. Even though this Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon is, these are the films that we enjoy the most. And this one hit me like a train.
Yeah.
I just remember watching it and thinking, this is absolutely incredible.
Yeah. Like you say, those kind of, it's a love story, isn't it? But they have so many rules in their culture.
Yeah.
And they don't even touch each other, like even like a hand putting a hand on someone else's hand. It's just the looks, isn't it? And you think, oh my gosh.
Amazing. Some of the set pieces. I mean, the first fight where I'm sorry for any spoilers, where she steals the Green Destiny.
Yeah.
And then there's that chase across the rooftops.
And that's my favourite scene. I mean, and it goes on for such a long time. The amount of the stamina that these guys must have built up just to film it. I mean, it's not nowhere in the same class, but in our prelude we had a lightsaber fight, and we try to use some martial art influences, and we know just for the small bit that we've done, it's so difficult to choreograph something like that, and so tiring. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
And then the choreography when they eventually clash. I'd never seen anything like it at the time.
So what is your favourite scene?
I think my favourite scene is where the policeman and his daughter and the butler guy meet Jade Fox.
Yeah.
And then Lee Mubai comes, and it's the way he sort of comes and he floats in with his sword, and it's like, this guy, he's the absolute don, isn't he? He's the man. And there's, I mean, it's an embarrassment of riches in terms of cinematography and beautiful scenes, but that one, and then when he eventually kills Jade Fox as well, and like the darts or whatever they are, like shoot through her, and there's so many good scenes.
There you go.
Should we move on?
Yeah, so from that we're going now to Karate Kid. Released in 1984, The Karate Kid stars Ralph Macchio, Pat Morita and Elizabeth Shue. A boy and his mother move to California for a new job. He struggles to fit in as a group of karate students start to bully him for dating a rich girl from their clique. It's up to his Japanese landlord Miyagi to teach him karate. This is my childhood, The Karate Kid.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? It really is. Now, it's a funny one, this, because you know I've got a mixed bag of feelings about this film, because I've sort of grown with it in two ways. So, the child in me, like you said, I loved it.
Yeah.
Daniel's son, Daniel LaRusso, I was like, if that guy can do it, anyone can do it.
Yeah.
And that's the message, isn't it?
That's it.
The little man can triumph. Anyway, as I got older, I saw it in a different light. The advent of the internet coloured my vision of it. Because I saw an article that said that Daniel's son is the antagonist and he deserves what he gets from Johnny and the rest of the boys from Cobra Kai. And I've agreed with some of it. I agree. You know I did. I agreed with some of it. Even in our Q&A, the person I would least like to sit next to at dinner, I said Ralph Macchio, didn't I? For this reason alone, because I wouldn't be able to say, listen, Ralph, Daniel's son did deserve some of it. Anyway, that aside, it is a great film, isn't it?
It is, and it's so iconic. I mean, again, when we were kids, the amount of people that ran round the playground saying, wax on, wax off.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Like Gaz said, with the sword fighting from Crouching Tiger, we referenced Karate Kid again, didn't we, in the prelude? One of the classic scenes where he's learning the crane kick on what we now know are called groins.
Yeah,
on the beach,
that, did we?
wasn't it? That was a fun day filming, wasn't it? But
no.
So what do you love about Karate Kid?
I think just, like I say, I think just having someone small like Daniel LaRusso to triumph over these bullies and just some of those set pieces, it's almost like that good versus evil, but in such a low level. Look at them, the Cobra Kai, they're wearing all the black.
Yeah, Kreese he's a bad egg, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
Kreese is the sort of rival sensei. So essentially, Daniel's son, he moves to, where is it? I can't remember what it's called.
Reseda?
Something like that. He moves somewhere with his mum. He's a bit of a dirtbag to his mum sometimes. He's a bit of a douchebag. You know this.
He's a young lad.
He lives in this complex where Mr. Miyagi, played by Pat Morita, is the caretaker. Goes down, he's cutting his bonsais, catching flies with chopsticks, having a whale of a time, isn't he? Daniel's son's like, I like this guy. Yeah. He gets involved with a girl that he probably shouldn't, being such new to the area. Yeah. Antagonises Johnny on the beach.
He doesn't.
What?
Are you joking?
Johnny's
looking for trouble.
Johnny, the knight in shining armour,
no way,
comes to defend his woman. They have a scrap on the beach and it goes from there, doesn't it? Now, you can't say that after that, Danielson doesn't do some things that he's starting it.
A little bit.
In the party, for 100%, he starts it in the party.
That is bad.
When they're in Johnny's in the toilet, just trying to calm down with a bit of medicinal drugs, just trying to chill himself out. He's having a good time with his mates. Danielson has to soak him for no reason. and then cause a multiple car crash.
Yeah, that's bad. That is bad. That's the worst thing. But I mean, that beating that he took after that, you think, flipping heck, that is bad.
Yeah.
When he's like getting smashed down and he's like, Johnny, he's had enough. I'll tell you when he's had enough. And they're like holding him up and all. And that's when Missy Miyagi comes to the fore and he's like, I didn't realise he was that good. Because I think he comes round and Daniel San, he's like, oh, he was that fella that helped me. He was like, me.
So what's your favourite bit in Karate Kid?
I think the end, that whole scene ending of being in the karate tournament and there's so many different characters and you're like, is he going to even make it? And then obviously he gets the injury, hit below the belt, and he's like, right, that's it. But Miyagi's saying, well, look, don't worry about it. You've shown you can stand up to these guys. And he's like, no. And then he goes, can you do that thing to help me out? My leg's killing. He was like, okay. Boom.
With his little knocky thing.
Yeah, and then I think the announcer's about to say, right, that's it, and then Elizabeth Shue runs out and he's like, Daniel LaRusso's gonna fight, and he does the crane, doesn't he?
God. Yeah.
Nothing can defend against it. Nothing. Although in Karate Kid 2, obviously, someone does.
Well, yeah, penetrates almost any defence, doesn't it? The crane. My favourite bit of the film is probably just the bits with Miyagi where he's doing wax on, wax off, and paint the fence. And all that kind of stuff, and the scene where they're doing the blocking on the thing.
That is so good,
Classic.
When just Daniel Russo's like, flipping heck, I've been learning karate all this time.
I didn't even realise.
There you go.
Should we move on to our number one?
Our number one, what could it be?
It's only, in our opinion, the best martial arts film ever.
Bloodsport.
Bloody Bloodsport. Our number one film is the 1988 Van Damme classic, Bloodsport. Bloodsport follows Frank Dukes, an American martial artist serving in the military. Frank decides to leave the army to compete in a martial arts tournament in Hong Kong, where fights to the death are a regular occurrence. Number one is Bloodsport, easily our favourite, I think.
Yeah,
it's not the best. It's not the most critically acclaimed. It's not the most culturally significant. But I tell you what, it's an absolute belter of a film, isn't it?
I mean, you could say it's so bad, and that's what makes it so good.
The true story
of
Frank Dukes, an American, I don't know if he's Jean-Claude Van Damme, American military man who is a proficient martial artist and enters this underground fighting competition called a Kumite. I think it's Hong Kong, isn't it?
Hong Kong, yeah.
In Hong Kong. And it's a great film. And like I said, it's so bad, it's good. Like the acting in it, no one in this film is troubling the Academy Awards, are they?
No. I don't think the Razzies were around then, but they definitely would have got some for this.
What's your favourite worst line?
My favourite worst line?
There's a few in there.
Yeah. I love the dim mark scene.
Basically, the dim mark is they go into this underground dojo where all the fighters are training, aren't they? And Frank's got in because Senzo Tanaka is his shidoshi. The judges are like, it says Senzo Tanaka is his shidoshi. And then Victor Lin's like, what's the difference if Bruce Springsteen is his shidoshi? That's one of my favourite lines. And then they say, if he is his shidoshi, show us the dim mark, the death touch. And then Jean-Claude sets himself up. He's about to smash it, and then he goes, no! Bottom one. Tells him to break the bottom brick in this pile of bricks. So he does, explodes.
That's it, it explodes. It don't crack, it explodes.
Explodes. We then see the bad guy of the film, Chong Li.
Yeah.
Notorious Chong Li. He looks at Frank and he says, very good, but brick not hit back. Which is a reference.
Yeah, it is.
Back to Enter the Dragon. And now Chong Li is played by Bolo Young, who was in Enter the Dragon as Bolo.
Yeah.
And it's a reference to when Bruce Lee says, but boards don't hit back.
Yeah.
So I love that little tie together. And I love the fact that it is derivative of all of these films.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, it brings us to sort of the main thing about Bloodsport, and that's its comparison to Kickboxer.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Now, Kickboxer is another Van Damme film. A lot of people think it's better. A lot of people think Bloodsport's better. I'm on the Bloodsport camp. So is Gazzy.
Definitely.
They're essentially the same film, though, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
You know, it's like, right, we've got Jean-Claude Van Damme. We've got someone he cares about getting hurt by the bad guy. We've obviously got the bad guy. We've then got mythical sensei who teaches him the ways of the warrior, so that he will avenge whoever got hurt by the bad guy. And then you've got, the love interest thrown in for good measure.
Definitely.
So the recipes are there. It's a perfect recipe for a Van Damme film. And like Gaz says, the flashback scenes, he gets chucked on the floor, and then, which obviously the flashback, we forgot to mention this, it's important for a payoff later on in the film, isn't it?
Yes, that's what I like.
Always important.
Yeah.
So this one's important because Chong Li, being the cheat that he is, in the final fight, chucks some sort of pepper spray or something in Frank Dukes' eyes, and he can't see. He's blind. Temporarily blinded. He's in the middle of the floor on the kumite. He's reaching out into the blackness, into the void. He's about to get his head kicked in. Surely to God, no one can overcome this obstacle. Luckily, Frank can call on a flashback.
Yes.
Where he learnt how to do things blindfolded with Senzo Tanaka.
Yeah. Have we got a clip for this?
We have got a clip of it.
Check it out.
What's your favourite bit of the film? If you had to pick one bit, what's your favourite bit?
I do like the what's that scene? Is it Janice's love interest in this?
I can't remember.
She's in the barn and she's being hassled, and he does the quarter trick.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen that bit?
Oh, what a fantastic
So good,
scene! Should
isn't
we have a
it?
look at it?
Yeah, run it. Yeah.
You come upstairs with me for an interview.
Like hell, let go of me.
You want to say no?
No, he sends an asshole.
What did you call me?
You want me to spell it out for you?
Leave the girl alone. Guess the Kumite starts one day earlier this year, hot fellas.
Look, guys, let's just all calm down, okay?
No, she's coming with me upstairs.
No, I'm not.
If we have to fight for her, then both of us will be thrown out of the Kumite. Just for her? We could arrange this another way. Do you gamble?
What is bet?
You hold this. If I can grab it before you close your hand, I get the girl. If I cannot, she's yours.
Very good.
Oh, you can't do this. Just relax.
Oh, geez, Frank, I hope you know what you're doing.
Ready?
Go. Ha! You lose, American asshole.
Looks like she's mine. Now leave the lady alone. You understand that?
So as you can see, like we said, the Academy Awards are not going to be troubled by this film.
Know that.
But I wouldn't change it.
No, I
I
wouldn't.
wouldn't change it for the world. I wouldn't change it for the world. And when we finish this, I'm going to watch it again.
Yeah, definitely.
But I really wouldn't change it for the world. And
Have you got a favourite Frank Dukes move?
well, Frank's best skill that I can see is being able to render his opponent in some sort of temporary catatonic state where he can do like 50 kicks and they won't even try and defend it. And he's like, where? Like Sharon Stone in Basic Instinct,
Yeah,
more or
yeah.
less. And he's giving it these wheel kicks and stuff. And there's no attempt at guarding any of them.
Yeah.
But it just adds to the mystique, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Frank's incredible skill. Man can fight blind, for God's sake.
Yeah, exactly.
He's incredible. That, funny enough, I mean, and how nice is Chong Li to allow Frank the time to have a nice flashback.
Exactly, yeah.
So he's like, Frank's on the floor just going, hey! He's like, yeah! And then, this bit annoys me. Chong Li comes and he goes to punch him, but he goes to punch him like 3 foot in front of his face.
Yeah.
You could have done better with that, couldn't they? Like, at least make it look like you're going to punch him. What's your favourite Frank move?
Wow.
Splits.
The splits. That's how you needed. That's the only thing you needed to be hard in the 80s. Learn how to do the splits. That's all you needed.
Generation of young men, get
Yeah.
you your ball stranglers on.
Yeah.
Get 2 chairs. Just do the splits.
Never achieved it, so
No, I couldn't do it.
there you
That's
go.
why we're not well hardened.
I know.
That's why we never won the Kumite, obviously.
Exactly, yeah.
I don't know, what is it though, Guy, that makes it the best?
I think nostalgia plays a massive part. I think you said
Yeah,
that.
for sure.
And like I say, it's in part so bad it's good. It's the way Van Damme is. I think it's Van Damme, isn't it? I mean, the characters that are around him are really good. They just support him, but he's just so good, and Van Damme is convinced that this will win an Oscar. I think that's the key to it. He thinks it's the best thing ever made, and he's just so into it. I think that's what it is.
I could agree with that. That's a really, really good point. Because he's that kind of guy, isn't
Yeah.
he? I mean,
Even when he does those beer adverts, he's like, I'm going to win an Oscar for this. He's just in the moment with his little mullet.
so there we go. I think it's a sum of all those parts, isn't it?
Yeah.
All those bits we've explained in this rambling way that we've explained them. But that's the only way. It is almost shambolic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Bloodsport. I mean, the name of it, Bloodsport. It's evocative, isn't it?
Yeah.
Makes you think, man, if this was another time, I'd enter this Kumite.
Yeah.
But now, I'd probably, I'm not allowed to travel because it's restricted because of outbreak of coronavirus and stuff like that. So
Health and safety won't let you do this.
no, not now.
No way.
Not now.
No way.
And I couldn't do that kick thing that he seems to do, where like he kicks someone who's by ear somewhere, and his leg goes like.
I know. I don't think that's humanly possible.
I couldn't do it. Well, Frank can do it. Splits. The
Yeah,
splits.
the splits. Vertical splits in it, I suppose.
So there you go. Should we wrap it up?
This could be an hour, couldn't it?
Easily.
An hour just
Easily.
on Bloodsport, but yeah, I suppose we should.
Yeah.
I suppose we should.
So there you go. That was our top 5 martial arts films. Our favourite, not the critically acclaimed ones, just our favourites that we loved. Culminating in our boyhood favourite, the classic Bloodsport.
Yeah.
The best one ever for us, isn't it?
Well, I say, let's let them tell us what's your favourite martial arts film. Let us know in the comments below. We love getting all your comments.
Yeah.
We read out all of them. We reply to all of them at the moment.
Yeah, we do, yeah.
And we love it.
Subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell icon to be told every time we release any new content. If you're on social media, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. We are at the Davies Locker. You can also listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify and Google Podcasts. And if that's not enough, we even got a website, www.thedavieslocker.com.
There you go. Thank you very much for joining us on this extravaganza of martial art films.
Can we get a move on? I want to go and watch Bloodsport.
Yeah, let's do it.
We'll see you soon.
See ya.